Picture a dark, thunderous sky hanging over the ancient golden walls of Lanka. The air is literally thick with the scent of ozone, blood, and impending doom. You can almost hear the distant rumble of war drums, right? The sharp ringing of temple bells. We're stepping straight into the heart of an epic exploration of ancient warfare, a place where cosmic laws clash violently with terrifying illusions. This isn't just history or myth, it's a deeply immersive journey into the tragic destiny of the ultimate warrior, caught between his unmatched power and a fatal flaw he absolutely cannot escape. Okay, let's dive into this. What happens when the world's most formidable, untouchable warrior suddenly realizes he is fighting on the wrong side? I mean, really imagine the crushing emotional weight of that. Here is a fiercely loyal son, bound by blood and honor to a doomed, egotistical father. He steps onto a battlefield knowing, deep within his very soul, that his own victory would mean the defeat of the universe itself. It's a paradox that completely tears at the mind, long before a single arrow was even fired. To truly grasp the stakes here, we have to look way beyond the clashing bronze and golden armor. At the philosophical core of our story, we're dealing with two massive opposing forces. On one side, we have Maya. That's the dark, terrifying power of illusion, magic, and deception. On the other side, there's Dharma, the unwavering cosmic law of truth, universal duty, and righteous order. So this isn't merely a physical skirmish. It is a profound war for the very fabric of reality, a direct collision between blinding ego and inescapable truth.
Act 1. The Master of Illusion.
The pacing of the world suddenly quickens. The battlefield is practically vibrating with fear as a golden warrior steps out of the shadows. His eyes are flecked with all the colors of gold, and he is ready to bend reality to his absolute will. Born with a first cry so thunderous it echoed like a roaring cloud, he was named Meghnad. But he earned an even greater title, INDRAJIT, the conqueror of Indra, the king of the heavens. Under the dark, intense tutelage of Guru Shukracharya, he completely mastered the darkest arts, completing 7 epic, terrifying sacrifices at the hidden Nukumbila temple. Armed with Lord Brahma's ultimate boons, an invincible bow, a quiver that literally never empties, and the dread Nagapash serpent noose, his power was absolute. He was a force of nature, entirely wrapped in gold.
And that raw power brings us to the invisible assault. Indrajit builds a smokeless fire. From the red flames rises a dazzling chariot drawn by 4 glowing tigers. He steps onto it, waves his arm, wraps himself entirely in magical illusion, and simply vanishes into the blue morning sky. Then, absolute chaos descends. Sharp cracks echo like breaking iron. Tigers are growling from empty clouds. A rain of golden, venomous arrows strikes without warning. A flaming axe drops from a totally clear sky, piercing brave hearts. The Nagapash serpent noose chokes the very breath from the battlefield, and mighty things like Sugriva, Angada, and the great bear Jambavan fall, coughing and choking, to an unseen, completely untouchable terror.
Standing amidst this visceral slaughter, Vivishana shades his eyes, gazing helplessly into the heavens, and utters a chilling realization. To Indrajit now, the sunder of heaven is but a whisper, and death's dread noose a bit of string. Just let the absolute dread of that sink in for a second. Even the all-seeing gods are blind to Indrajit's celestial stealth. The greatest army on earth has been reduced to mere deer, sent against an invisible, flying lion. Let's move to Burmia and see how this builds across a brutal, multi-day war of wild emotional swings. On the first morning, this invisible assault completely decimates the forces of light, leaving the greatest heroes riddled with arrows. Then, in the deepest, darkest night, a miraculous, desperate flight takes place. By the next daybreak, a horrific, psychologically shattering illusion pushes the survivors to the very brink of madness. And finally, at high noon, the ultimate silent showdown in a blood-soaked grove. Act 2, the light in the dark. As the golden sun sets on a field of unparalleled slaughter, the frantic energy of war slows down drastically. A heavy, nighttime stillness falls. The surviving heroes, bleeding, trembling, and desperate, slowly rise to search the blood-soaked earth under the pale, silent watch of the stars. What's truly incredible here is the sheer scale of devotion it takes to reverse such death. Step 1, discovering the fallen, Hanuman doesn't despair. Instead, he launches himself like a blazing comet over the dark sea,
flying high above the river Ganga and Lord Shiva's moonlit hair. Step 2, he finds the mountain of life, crowned with luminous plants shining like cold white flames. But the herbs, lacking compassion, actually hide themselves deep in the earth to avoid him. So step 3, fueled by pure, urgent, angry love, Hanuman doesn't hesitate. He uproots the entire massive mountain of life, stone, rivers, and all, and literally carries the glowing peak across the night sky. Just imagine the sheer warmth of this moment as he returns. The blazing heat and the intensely sweet fragrance of the uprooted medicinal mountain literally wash over the silent, brutalized battlefield. Instantly, the liquid silver glow of the herbs works its impossible magic. Deep cuts seal, arrow wounds vanish, lungs violently drop breath again. Hanuman's sheer, wholehearted devotion literally pulls his friends back from the very edge of oblivion, resurrecting the fallen in a wash of brilliant golden light. Act 3. Dharma versus ego. Physical survival only brings us to a much deeper confrontation. We have to step away from the healing winds of the battlefield and into the silent, tense, deeply claustrophobic halls of King Ravana's palace. A heartbreaking, incredibly intimate father-son confrontation is about to unfold. Stepping into these halls, the Golden Prince delivers a devastating truth to his king. You took death on your lap the day you stole Sita, and death have you courted all this time. Speak those words in your mind with heavy, tragic irony. Indrajit, the invincible conqueror, the master of illusions, sees through the greatest illusion of all, his father's pride. He realizes with piercing clarity that Ravana's selfish ego has doomed their entire civilization to rot from the inside out. So the crucial point is the inescapable tragedy of their disconnect. Ravana, utterly blinded by his own arrogance, demands blind loyalty. He wants more illusions, more manipulative war tactics, totally ignoring the moral decay of his empire. But Indrajit desperately tries to make his father see that the enemy army isn't just a collection of animals and men, they are the physical instrument of cosmic time itself. Indrajit sees the inescapable truth of Dharma approaching like a massive storm, yet bound by the sacred duty of a son, he is forced to march back out and fight for a complete lie. Act 4. Shattering the deception. With his warnings falling on totally deaf ears, the prince must return to the slaughter. The tension ramps up to a horrific breaking point, because Indrajit, cornered by destiny and his father's madness, is about to unleash his most cruel, psychologically devastating weapon yet. To completely break the enemy's spirit, Indrajit flies his chariot low over the monkey army. By his side is a flawless, weeping, magical replica of Sita. As the army watches in sheer horror, Indrajit grabs her by the hair, draws his sharply gleaming sword, and cruelly executes the phantom right in the sky. You can almost feel the visceral horror of the blades striking, the sudden collective gasp of the monkeys, and the dark wave of paralyzing, hopeless grief that washes over the heroes. It is a calculated masterpiece of absolute emotional manipulation. But dark magic cannot withstand truth forever. The Rakshasa Vibhishana stands tall, his blue crystal eyes blazing, and shatters the dark spell with piercing clarity. He cries out, "Mother Night, we are shadows. Mother, show me my brother Indrajit." With those words, the facade cracks. He proves to a weeping Hanuman and a paralyzed Lakshmana that the execution was merely a phantom designed to breed despair. And just like that, the grief instantly evaporates, replaced by a cold, hyper-focused, burning resolve. Act 5. The final reality. The veil of deception has been entirely ripped away. The air grows incredibly thick with gloom, spilled blood, and the heavy, intoxicating smell of ancient, forbidden magic as we enter the hidden Nikamvilla Grove. Deep in the shadows of down-growing trees, Indrajit kneels in a crimson robe. He's feeding a smokeless fire with dark butter, fresh blood, and underground nagavenom. The ritual is nearly complete. The magical golden tigers are just beginning to paw their way out of the flames. But then, a sudden, screaming arrow from Lakshmana rips through the air and shatters Indrajit's black iron ladle. It's an explosive turning point. The fire god Agni smiles, turns away, and flees. The ritual is totally broken. The invincible warrior is violently stripped of his magical protection. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate philosophical contrast of our epic. Think about it. On one hand, we have Indrajit, the master of Maya, fueled by ego, anger, and fire, unleashing desperate flurries of silver armor and poisoned javelins, just trying to hold on to a dying world. On the other hand, we have Lakshmana, the defender of Dharma, fueled by an unwavering duty,
grounding in a calm, silent focus, armed with unbreakable divine arrows. It is literal chaos colliding directly with cosmic order. The final battle is a blinding blur of light, moving faster than the mortal eye can even track. The sky rains sparks and shattered silver armor as the two fastest warriors alive trade devastating blows. Arrows are veiling the sky, literally turning day into night. Finally, Lakshmana calms his mind. He slows his hand. He carefully withdraws Agastya's silver-bladed grass arrow. With a singular, silent purpose, he releases the string. The arrow flies true, severing Indrajit's head. The beautiful illusions melt away, leaving only grim reality. The reign of deception is over forever.
Back in the opulent, completely empty palace, the dark news arrives, and the arrogant Demon King finally breaks. He weeps burning tears, whispering out into the void. Now I begin to think much more of Yama, for he has brought you, Indrajit, under the law of time. The devastating, inescapable cost of pride has been paid in full. The golden sun is gone, swallowed by the very truth he tried to warn his father about. Which leaves us with a genuinely haunting question. When blind loyalty demands you sacrifice your truth, is victory actually worse than defeat? If this journey moved you, support the channel with a like, share, and subscribe for more timeless stories.